Get down. Let me clear my throat. Yeah. Oh, that's better. That's better. Somebody pass around the offering. Since I'm always preaching on tracks, you feel me? I'm about to get paid for it. Sermon of the day. You right where you supposed to be, baby. Informant, that information for me. Important you get a portion of fortune pouring. Confession, fortune me blessings on now they snoring. You mellow, so focused on scoring. Got you underperforming. I never expect something, never assume nothing. Judging me for my past, but that's why I'm triumphant. I don't demand, I know where I stand like engineer hands. Watch how my life pans. That game plan, show out like a jota, pop out like a cutter. Telling the quick rock, skipping the course, squares like hopscotch. This gonna be my mood to my beat drop. Putting my boogie shoes in my diddy boots, ain't no stop. I'ma make the rest of my life live. Yeah, I'ma make the rest of my life live. Gonna make the rest of my life the best of my life. Yeah, I'ma make the rest of my life live. I'ma make the rest of my life live. Gonna make the rest of my life the best of my life. Congratulations on the celebration. I know I'm dope without a need of a validation. No congratulations on no celebration. I know I'm dope without a need of a validation. Yeah. If having hope is dangerous, call me evil Knievel. You leading on the wrong side, living with pens and needles. So lethal, made Shane Black wanna write a sequel. Cause I snuggle my dream till it's seen as illegal. And I still probably will, cause I can never give up. I got my goals calling me, how could I never pick up? Either we make up or just break up. With the snake kids get the rake up. Yeah, selfish, I'ma cake up. If I don't shake me to wake up. Let my depression catapult me to succession. Shine a light on my imperfections like a projection. Every struggle and lesson, your issues ain't your oppression. Never got a question, they pushing me to progression like I'ma make the rest of my life live. Yeah, I'ma make the rest of my life live. Gonna make the rest of my life the best of my life. Yeah, I'ma make the rest of my life live. I'ma make the rest of my life live. Gonna make the rest of my life the best of my life. Congratulations on the celebration. I know I'm dope without a need of a validation. No congratulations on no celebration. I know I'm dope without a need of a validation. Yeah. Get down. Let me clear my throat. Yeah. Oh, that's better. That's better. Somebody pass around the offering. Since I'm always preaching on tracks, you feel me? I'm about to get paid for it. Sermon of the day. You right where you supposed to be.
Hey everybody, happy Thursday. We made it through another week. I don't know about you, but I am glad. Right? It is Friday, Junior, the next best day of the week. So welcome as always. I love Thursdays. I get so excited. And that's my song. I'm going to make the rest of my life like what? The very best of my whole life. So it is my favorite day of the week. Thursday night. Why? Because I get to spend the next 60 or so minutes with you. And I am glad you decided to tune in with us tonight here on the Bravo with Sheila Network. Once again, we salute and give a big bravo to the Queen Bee of the Bravo with Sheila Network. That is in the person of Pastor Sheila Ingram herself, who, as always, I say, so graciously yields the captain's chair to me every Thursday night to spend this time with you. And I'm grateful and I'm glad, and I hope that you are too. So I'm excited about our conversation tonight. I'm excited about what's happening tonight. We're going to shout out some people in the comments. Hey, Mom, that's my mom. She gave birth for real. We know her as Pastor Rosa. She's Mama Rosa. She's everybody's Rosa. So we say hello and salute to you and to our number one Bravette, the Lady Anae, Kenya. Hey, Anae, how are you doing on tonight? Thank you for joining. Gonna ask you to do like we always do here on the Bravo with Sheila Network on Thursday nights. You know we do things in triplicate. Like, subscribe, and share. Please like, subscribe, and share. Spread this good stuff across the nation and help us to build this channel. I'm getting a little bit of an echo. Not sure why, but let's see. All right, let's see what we can do. All right, there we go. So We want to welcome you, of course, again to Thursday Nights with Lady Dawn B. And we want to say to those who are in the expensive seats, up in the silent zone, we want to say welcome and thank you for joining us. We hope you'll make your way down into the comment section and engage with us on tonight. So we're grateful that we are here once more and again. I am happy and excited because this is the month of November, and November is the greatest month out of all 12 of the months. Why? Because that's right. Big it up. November is the best month out of all 12 of the months. Okay. I don't care what you heard. I don't care what nobody said. It's not a rumor. It's true. And it's not just because it's Thanksgiving. It's because it is my birth month. It is my time of celebration, and not just me, but we got double blessings going on over here with the Bravo and Sheila Network. Why, you ask? Because I heard somebody ask, so I'm gonna tell you why. Because it's not just my birth month, it is the birth month of our leader and founder, the Queen Bee, Bravo Sheila herself. So you get double of the blessings in the month of November, and then we have Thanksgiving. Come on, y'all. Come on. It don't get no better than that. I don't care what nobody says. It's the greatest month. So I'm excited every Thursday night that we are able to come and share with you. And I've been celebrating all month long. Every day I've been doing the countdown. My birthday is Sunday. And Pastor Sheila's is she wraps up the month. So I'm looking forward to celebrating and just enjoying, being grateful for every day that we've been given and for everything that we have. So on tonight, I am excited because we're going to have some great conversation. Our topic on tonight is breaking free to move forward. I'm so excited about this. As some of you may know, I've been on this journey of redeeming me, of who I am, resetting myself back to my intended purpose, and not just resetting myself back to my intended purpose, but actually moving, walking, and manifesting in that. And I encourage you all to do the same. And one of the ways that I was able to do that was breaking free from the things, I was breaking free from me in some ways, but I don't want to get ahead of myself. I want to introduce our panelists on tonight. I'm happy and excited that they are here with me. And I'm so grateful that they chose to come and share this awesome conversation we're going to have. So again, I'll ask you like, subscribe, and share. Invite a friend, grab a chair, get a snack, and let's chat. So I'm going to introduce to some and present to others. She is no stranger here. She has been on this platform before. Yes, and yes. She is none other than, I say she's my drop deposit sister, because I don't know how we ended up together, but she's here now, and grateful for her. And she is my North Carolina sister in the person of the distinguished Toastmaster, Michelle Roach. Come on and greet the people, Lady Michelle.
Good evening, everyone. It's great to see everyone again. I must correct you before we get started. September is the greatest.
We in November. That's the past.
We celebrate the Labor Day. I don't have to tell you what happens when we say Labor Day. So I just wanted to correct that. Again, hello everyone. It's good to see my brother Donald. So good to see him. He became my brother a couple of months ago, and Dawn, where she's been my sister for a long time. She just found out a couple of months ago. So again, hello everyone.
I'm always grateful for Michelle when she comes on. She is not just my sister friend or my friend's sister, but we have co-authored. We are co-authors in a great book that's also coming out towards the end of this month. It's a 366-day devotion for 2024. So it's 366 authors. You got a different word for every day. So we'll be sharing about that too, and bring her back on when we have our Meet the Author segment, so we could chop it up about that. And so moving right along before we get into the conversation, it's going to be good tonight, y'all. It is. I promise you. So the next one, again, he is no stranger here on the Thursday night with Lady Dawn B. He is no stranger. He's been on a little pause, but he is back into his house with us on tonight. And he is who I call 204. Why you say, for those who don't know, he is literally my brother. We share the same DNA, mama and daddy and last name. So there's 4 of us, and I'm the baby. I'm the baby girl. He's the baby boy, but I'm the baby. So he is 2 or 4. I am 4 or 4. So for those of you who don't know him, he is in the person of my big brother, whom I love dearly, the minister Donald Brathwaite. Come and holler at the people, big bro. You have to come off mute.
That's the problem.
There you go.
There we go. All right.
You gotta,
1 second.
You got to echo, so you got to close off.
Let me do that.
All right. Well, while he's regrouping and getting it all together, it's me and the lady Michelle, and we do expecting one other person to come on and pop up and engage in this amazing conversation. But again, I want to welcome you all tonight, and I hope that you will enjoy this conversation. Please like, subscribe, and share, and let's get into it. Again, this topic is called Breaking Free to Move Forward. And this is something that, like I said, is near and dear to me as I'm on my journey of re-emerging, as I'm on my journey of manifesting, and as I'm on my journey of living. Not just existing, no longer surviving, but in a place of living. And my hope is by the time we finish this conversation, that you will all walk away with some nuggets of encouragement that you'll be able to use and to apply to your life, that will benefit you and that will help you manifest your own life's purpose and destiny. So Michelle, since it's just us girls for the time being, tell me, what is your first thought? What do you get from the topic of breaking free to move forward? Or what does that mean to you?
Commitment to myself, knowing what I need, and being confident enough to know I could take the steps that's going to get me where I need. And the foundation for me is trusting in God. Mm-hmm. I realized that, I could trust in Michelle, but Michelle has stepped on a few toes. So it's time for me to thank God they're not looking for me on, social media. They might find me, but
thank God.
I just trust that God can move me in the right direction, because yes, I've stepped on, like I said, made some mistakes, but I look back and I take accountability for those mistakes, but I also know why it's time for me to move forward.
There you go, guys. You heard it yourself. She said she done stepped on some toes, but she took accountability, and she knows now is the time for her to move forward. And I'm sure you're not the only one. We all been there. So, big brother, hopefully we'll be able to hear you now. If you can, give us a holler, let us know, say hello to the people. Okay, we see your lips moving, but we can't hear you saying nothing. All right, we gonna pray. We're gonna pray that the Lord loose thine technologies, and yeah. All right. Okay, so for me, the whole premise of breaking free and moving forward is a point of acknowledgement. It's a point of acceptance. One thing I learned is that we have to be real and realistic in identifying what those toxic things are in our lives, that the toxic things in our lives that have put us in the position where we are unable to move forward. Those things, those blockages, those things that are in our way. Those things that are set to deter us from moving forward. So we have to be able to find a way to break free from those things and get ourselves to the place of freedom so that we can move forward. Um, Michelle, do you want to share before I get it? I have like 3 points. Well, actually, you know what? I want to read something um, as we get into our conversation. And I apologize, y'all. We having a little bit of technical difficulties on tonight, but it's all right. We're going to get it going. In the whole process of breaking free to move forward, there's a few things that we have to do. We got to first examine again the points of what we need to do to break free. And in order to break free, we have to disengage. We have to disengage from the things that are causing us blockage, that are causing us issues, that are in the way of again of basically of us just moving forward. And we have to do that by removing the root of the problem, removing the root of the thing that is causing us issues and blocking us in our way. So I want to read this quote, and then I want to ask our panelists to share their thoughts on this. This is something that we do. The first quote that I want to read is, "Stop watering things that were never meant to grow in your life." Stop watering things that were never meant to grow in your life. Again, we're talking about breaking free. If we continue to water the things that are causing us discomfort, that are causing us some bondage in places where you need to be free, then how do we expect to get free? We will never get free because we are continuing to feed that thing. So what do you feel or what, how is this applicable for you in your lives? Do you agree with this statement that we need to stop watering the things that were never meant to grow in your life? Have you ever been in that situation where you've been feeding the thing that is really causing the blockage in your life? I don't know if you want to try to share now, if we can see if your mic is working. Okay, we still can't hear you. All right, so we're gonna let him still try to work it out. It's gonna get it together. We're gonna get it together. So Michelle, share with us on tonight, what is your take, your feedback, your comment on this quote of stop watering things that were never meant to grow in your life when we're talking about disengaging from these things? You're on mute.
First, that's not easy. I think we can all agree that's not easy. We know we should move on, but we stay put. You know, we say, hey, it'll get better. I just need to take time. I just need to sit still. I need to, hold on to it. So it's not easy to walk away, but you need to find out what it is. What is it that I need to move out of my life? What is it I need to stop doing? Sometimes that's hard, but again, it's only going to make your life better. It's only going to help you move forward when you have that conversation with yourself. Sometimes we allow other people to tell us what the problem is. So sometimes we just have to sit still and ask that question of ourselves. Why am I still in this spot? Why can't I move forward? But also I see the past as a learning. We're supposed to learn from our past, learn from our mistakes. Again, that requires us to sit still, take accountability, and realize, yes, I made mistakes, not just the other person, like the people I mentioned earlier.
Okay.
Hopefully they're not making any comments. But that's my take on that.
Okay, no, and that's good stuff, because what I'm hearing you say in that is you're talking about us identifying, first of all, what it is, because you said we know that certain things we should be letting go of, yet we don't. Certain people, certain things, certain relationships, certain jobs. We can't say that we want more or we want better, but we're not willing to do more to get the better. So we have to be able to honestly identify what it is that is in our way that we need to start to make a change, to remove. And disengaging is not easy at all. It absolutely is not easy at all. Because, we build up these relationships, these rapports, and we become comfortable. Some things become a comfort to us. Some of the things that we have to disengage from are actually the things that we find comfort in. Even though we know we don't need them, or we still should not have them, and we know that it's in a way, it's kind of like getting comfortable with your wounds, or getting comfortable with your struggles. So it's not so much of a hard struggle anymore, but it is, and it is an issue that we need to, address and disengage from. Breaking apart is not easy. Breaking free from people is not easy. Have you ever been in a situation where you knew you needed to break off with someone, but you just couldn't do it?
Well, Don, I'm just gonna say it like this. I just pray to God. I say, God, if you move them out the way, I will not go back looking for them. That's what I'm saying now.
Right. Because I was going to say, I know a lot of us pray that prayer, Lord, if you move it, I want to go back to it. And he moves it. And the minute we get bored, the minute we enter into a struggle, where are we going? Right back to what we knew.
I'm saying that today. Now, I am guilty of, holding on when he was trying to, go to the left. I was like, no, you're not. You know how we say you're not going anywhere. Mm-hmm. You're going to stay right here with me. But mm-hmm. I'm learning. I'm a work in progress.
We all are. But you got a lot of company on that work in progress bus. We all are.
But again, accountability. Yes, I've made mistakes. It's a two-way street. It wasn't just him or her. I played a part in that. But also, what is it going to take for me to feel better about where I am?
Right.
What is it going to take for me to stop holding on to someone or something that I need to let go of? So sometimes you have to just sit down, think about that, be honest with yourself. It might be hard, but let go. Like you were saying, it could even be your job.
Yeah.
It was one job that I had. I said, I spent too much time on this job, everyone in their cubicle going back and forth at each other. And he said, she said, and no, I'm not going to do this. And I said, I spent too much on this job, too much time at this job to hear all of this negativity. But you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, and that's the point of disengaging, identifying and disengaging, acknowledging and being accountable, because it takes two. It takes two, but we can't say that we want more and we are not willing to do the things that are necessary to get the more. We can't, there's certain things. And what I love about this statement, and I had to reread it a few times because it was talking about, it says, stop watering the things that were never meant to grow in your life. And what came to me was, how did the things that were never meant to grow in my life get in my life? Those are things that we've opened the door to. Those are things that we have allowed, that we've made room for, and were never intended to even be in our lives. And if they were in our lives, they were not meant to grow. Something can, sometimes we have to kill it. And but we always have to kill it, but then we have to kill it at the root. And it takes us taking the time to go back into ourselves. You got to dig deep into who we are to find out and figure out, where did this thing take root? Where is it? Because you can cut it off at a certain point in a certain place, but it's going to continue to grow. It's going to keep, if you don't pluck it out by the root, it's going to continue to grow. It will always resurface itself. And that's the key. And the problem is that we don't always want to get down to the root, because truthfully, it's when you're plucking something up from the root, that's where the most pain is. That's where it hurts the most. And that's where we feel kind of the emptiness, or that void. We're wondering, how are we going to fill this void in this space? Do you agree with that? Have you experienced that? Have you had a hard time, or had a struggle with removing something from the root and having to deal with the with that pain of disengaging?
I would say divorce.
Mm.
I would have to say divorce. You want to stay together. You realize it's time to go, but you just want to hold on. And I would say that the children are at the heart of that, because you want to say, hey, it's not about the children. We're the ones who making the decision. I've talked about that before, but still, at some point, like you said, you gotta let go. You're still connected. It's still hard. Everything that you've gone through, from the first time that you met, to the time you got married, to the time that you went through the troubles, but you still got to let go. And I just thank God that I still have that friendship. That was the only thing that we didn't let go, being friends, being able to support each other. So I just thank God for that type of relationship. Yes, he went his way, I went mine. We stayed together, stayed connected for our children, but today we're still friends, and I just thank God for that.
And that's a good point. And I'm going to read something in a minute. Hey, welcome to the show, Pastor Abraham Sunday. Thank you for joining us. And thank you, those who are watching us right now here on Thursday Night with Lady Dawn B. We are talking about breaking free in order to move forward. The end of the year is coming up, and we do a lot of resolutions. We have Mr. Donald on with us, and he's having a little technical difficulties, but that's all right, because he is texting me part of his share, so I'm gonna read it for him. We're gonna work it out. See how God does? He's working it out. We're gonna tag team it. So if I'm a little distracted, y'all bear with me, okay? We're gonna make it. His voice will be heard on tonight, okay? But that is so true. Divorce is a major. I've been there. I've been there. But it is a major disengagement. And it is a major place where you get down to the root, and the root is the marriage. And that's the thing that ends up being disengaged and pulled up and plucked out. And it's hard, because that is just, for, again, the example, since you said divorce, and we're using that in this moment. Like you said, you built up this relationship from beginning, from the getting to know someone, the introduction, and you spend all this time, and then you have these dreams that you're going to, live together forever, and it's going to be great and wonderful. And then you start working together and accumulating things, and acquiring stuff and building this life, and you don't have a backup plan for it, because no one goes into marriage expecting it to get divorced, and then lo and behold, here you find yourself at a place where you now have to break free from the dreams that you had of doing and of being, with this person or in this relationship. Your forever is no more. What do? When your forever is no more, what do? You have to find a new normal. You got to find a new dream. You have to find a new hope, but we have to then break free from those things and those thoughts, because you can't stay. I know some people may get stuck in our situations. People may get stuck in your grief or in your struggle, or in the loss of whatever it is. But we have to find a way to move forward through what we're doing. So I want to read what Minister Donald says. He said, by breaking free from the habits, addictions, behaviors, negative thoughts of life, to name a few, we are open to change and transition. He says, John 8:36, who the Son sets free is free indeed. God wants us freedom. God grants us freedom, I'm trying to make sure I read it right. God grants us freedom so that we are choosing so that we are choosing that instead of it keeping us captive. So, amen. Thank you for that input, Minister Donald. That's a good point. By breaking free from, we do have to break free from habits, from addictions, from negative behaviors. It is hard to change. I know I had to start changing my mindset in this journey. And that is one of the hardest places I've found to really manage and to navigate through. Because, you can't you combat yourself in your mind. There's a war within the members. You can lie to a lot of people, but you can't lie to yourself. So that whole mental fight that we go through of acknowledging where we are and our need to break free from what is holding us, whether it is, we have to first admit that we have a problem. We have to first admit that there is an issue. We have to first admit that there's a struggle. We have to first admit that we are not where we're supposed to be as of yet. So that whole identifying piece is really, really major. And that whole acknowledgement piece is very key. And then again, being accountable for how did we get here? How did we get here? I hope you're enjoying the conversation so far. And again, bear with us on tonight. Donald is having a little bit of technical difficulties. So we are doing some workarounds over here. But we're going to get through it on tonight. So again, I was reading the quote, stop watering things that were never meant to grow in your life. The only way you get to move forward is by loosing yourself from the things that are holding you down. Sometimes the greatest enemy is the inner me, which is me, the INNER, me. Sometimes we can be our own worst enemy. And just kind of relating back to what Donald was sharing about, the addictions and the different things that we have, and how God has definitely given us the ability to choose freedom. And we have to choose life. We have to make choices. We have to find the strength quite often to be able to get up from where we are and don't be afraid to create a new normal. Because otherwise you're going to be sitting on the sideline for the rest of your life. Sometimes, bitterness sets in most often when we are not taking the steps that we need to take to change our situation. And we become frustrated with others who are already moving along in their, they're moving forward. They're doing what they got to do. And we're sitting here mad at them because they're moving and we're still here. Well, guess what, people? That is not their fault. That is on us. That's not on that. That's on us. If you still sitting in the same spot and you see everybody else moving along, you can't be mad at the people that are moving. You got to be able to pick up your feet and get in the game. Comparison is the thief of joy. It's something that I heard and I say it. It is the thief of joy. And we can't afford to compare our journey to anyone else's journey. We should be complimenting one another and encouraging one another because we're all on a journey. We're all on a journey. We're going on the journey together. Although our journeys look very different, I'm glad I'm not in this race of trying to break free alone. We all have something that we need to break free from. And we all have a forward that we have to address. Donald says, I so have a story to share. He's mad at the interference. I'm mad at the interference. The enemy must not want you to share it. That's what's happening today. So we are talking about breaking free. But how do we break free? How do we do it? Because it's one thing to say that this is what we need to do, but how do we do it? Michelle, can you share maybe one thing that you did, one action that you took that enabled you to break free from whatever it was that was holding you and releasing you to the place where you are now of moving forward? And I'm using that term and moving forward and onward with God.
Our response to that question is closing my ears to negativity. Even within myself, telling myself, I can't do it. Or I can't do it like he can or she can, or what if. And the learning in all of that is I can do all things. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And I remind myself every time I say, nope, can't do that, or I can't. Even when I parallel park, I have to tell myself, I can do all things, because me and parallel parking do not get along. So trust me, even in the little things, but again, closing your ears to negativity, not allowing anyone to stop you in your tracks or to tell you what you can and cannot do. And sometimes we can't step outside that box. I may come to Don, what about this? No, you need to sit down. That's not you. Or even in a relationship, no, I don't know why you with him anyway. You should have let him go a long time ago, and vice versa. Vice versa. My brother might come to me and I said, no, that's not the one. And what does he do? He said, yeah, my sister knows what she's talking about. So, bye, Shirley. Shirley, well.
Right. Shirley got to go.
Yeah, she's looking for Michelle right now. So, but just closing our ears to negativity, and that's not easy. That's not easy. Again, we always talk about our support system. We need someone within that support system that's going to be honest with you. But at the same token, you don't want to let anyone in who's speaking negativity.
Right.
That's one thing we have to sit down and take recognition to. This is where I was, and this is who was in my life at that time. Were we moving forward, or was, were we just sitting there in the same spot, talking about the same things, doing the same things, not encouraging each other, not pushing each other forward, just holding each other back. So again, that's a conversation we have to have with ourselves, that reflection on the past and where we are today.
No, and that's true. I like that when you talk about silencing, closing your ear and silencing the voices, because a lot of other people's opinions, when we listen to too many people, I don't know about you, but it just starts to sound like noise to me. That's what they call it, white noise, in the background. And it drowns out your own thoughts. It drowns out your own desires because you have too many other people or influences, speaking and weighing on you and causing your mind to now try to embrace whatever it is that they want. And that's not pushing you towards freedom. That is keeping you in bondage or pulling you deeper into the bondage so that you can't be free, because then you become a people pleaser. And that's one thing that we have to learn how to break free from. We have to learn how to break free from being people pleasers, because that's one thing that will forever suppress who you are. Because you will keep changing like a chameleon in order to try to satisfy or pacify or be accepted or validated by someone else. But we're no longer trying to live in those spaces. We have to break free from that and know within yourself that you are enough as is today. We don't need a whole bunch of, secondary people to are, or sign off on what you want to do. If God gave you a vision or a dream or a desire, then we need to be able to walk in that. We need to be able to trust our natural instinct, trust the the creativity that's within you, because everyone is not going to see your vision, and everyone's not going to see your vision your way. Everyone is not going to be able to speak into your vision, because everybody is not meant to be a part of your vision. So we really have to be careful about who we allow in our ear, because once you hear something, you can't unhear it. The seed's already planted. Once you see something, you can't unsee it. There's a lot of things I wish I could unsee and unhear, but I can't, but we have to make sure that we don't allow these things to take root, because this is about, if it doesn't serve you positively, then we have to make sure that this is not something that we are watering in our lives, because it was never meant to be there in every stage. Sometimes we have to learn to give people the gift of goodbye. which is really hard at times. I like you, but I gotta go. I love you, but you gotta go. Because it only becomes a weight as we go along. You know, you need people that are going to be able to speak life into your life and speak life into your visions, speak life into your goals. You don't have to agree with everything, every step of the way, but you need people who are going to get behind you and want to see you win. There's even, I don't even like the term constructive criticism, because criticism is criticism, period. It just is. We don't need criticism. You might need some clarity. You might need some other instructions. You might need some direction. You might need some input, but we do not need to be criticized in the things that we are trying to do and to work and to build on as we're moving towards our freedom. One thing I realized also is that, you know, everybody doesn't want to see you break free. Sometimes people are married to the broken version of you. I'm going to let that one rest for a second. I'm going to take a Selah pause. Because they benefit more from your brokenness than they will from you being free and standing up in who you are and recognizing who you are and walking in the authority of who you are. So we got to be really careful about who, like you said, we listen to and what we're watering. Because you'll find yourself that one of the plant it will turn into a weed that will continue to suck the life out of you and keep you in misery. And I've had to reassess some things in my own life. You know, I've had to reevaluate some things in my own space. You know, I've had to rethink some friendships and some relationships in my own space. And some things I've had to reconsider with myself, you know. So what do you, Donald, I don't know if your mic is working now, if you want to try and see. Okay, he's putting it in the chat. Wonderful. He says, here's the short version. I was being complacent for a period of time, I guess, in others. I was a captive watching what others were achieving that I wanted. Sitting in a car watching, then one day I opened the car door and got out. I realized that the power to breaking free was in my hands. There you go. It's in the mind. It's in the mind. Our mindset, when you make up your mind that you are tired of sitting in the background, when you make up your mind that you are tired of being passed over, people doing laps and you haven't even gotten on the track yet, but you're mad. Well, how are we mad if our feet ain't moving? You know, we got to get in the game. We got to get in the race. You're not going, freedom is not going to just come and meet you at the door. You know, we have to go and get it. We have to overcome. That's how we overcome these things. And it's breaking free. Finding your freedom is not always pretty. It's not always polite. You know, it's a break. It is a break. You know, it means that this is not, you know, it's when something is broken, it falls apart. And I think that's one of the areas that we struggle with, is thinking that our freedom and moving forward is supposed to come in a pretty little package. And the truth of the matter is that it is not meant to come in a pretty little package. Donald says, freedom doesn't come without taking a step. Amen. And when you take that one step, then you're going to find out that you can take two. But you got to start moving. You know, we have to start moving along. We have to start somewhere. You know, and again, because it's not going to come and just be handed to you. We have to put the work in to make the break. I know I've stayed in relationships too long because I was trying to not hurt the other person. But while I'm trying not to hurt the other person, is hurting me. Ergo, our book, Loving You, is hurting me. That's the first book I ever wrote in with Harlem Girls. And I had to get to the place where I wasn't willing to die so that you could live. And what that also showed me was that even the person that I was with at that time, I'm like, you don't even see that I'm dying by trying to help you live. So it taught me something about when people say they love you and when they care, because if you love me and you care, then you would be attentive. You would be able to see that, you know, I'm on empty now. Oh, I got to breathe life back into this person. It doesn't matter if it's male, female relationships. It doesn't matter if it's family. It could be friends, no matter what it is. You know, we have to be mindful that we have to save ourselves first before we can save anybody else. So, Michelle, what do you think? Or come share with me. I don't want to take up the whole conversation. I'm going to read this comment from Mama Rosa, and then I want you to share. She says, sometimes we don't know that we're supposed to be in the race or understand which race is for us. So we do nothing. Which is true. And sometimes you do. Sometimes we get stuck. We don't know that we're supposed to be moving because I believe we become very complacent in the place that we're at. We become complacent in the space we're in. And so we're not even trying to identify sometimes. You know, we become satisfied with our do nothing. But if you become satisfied with your do nothing, then you have to understand you're not going to move forward. But if you want to move forward, you have to become uncomfortable with that place of complacency. So, Michelle, come share. What do you think? What do you feel about what we said so far about breaking free and the process of breaking free? That it's not as pretty as people suppose. That it takes work and is painful.
I think a major part of us staying where we are is words. Negativity can come through words, and if we were all to be truthful, we hold on to those words. And even the person that we've spoken to, we're wondering 6 months later why Michelle is still feeling the same way about me. Well, what did you say to Michelle 6 months ago that hurt me? That every time I see you, I have to step back for that moment because I remember where I was when I was with you. So again, it's not always your act. Well, you're speaking, those words that you're speaking is an action. And again, you want to take accountability for that. And a lot of times we hear, let's support each other, build each other up. And sometimes you have to stop and tell yourself, yes, I'm applauding that person. Sometimes they may not applaud me back. So what? I'm just going to stop. I have to learn to applaud myself, to recognize the fact that, yes, this is where I was. This is where I am now. And I'm going to applaud myself for each one of those steps that I made. And yes, I stepped on some toes. That's when I apologize because, again, I'm moving forward, but that person is still locked in that space saying, here's what you did to me. And if we don't let go of our hurt, we're going to move forward and end up being in another relationship and hurt someone else. So I just think accountability is just so important, but also listening to yourself.
True.
What is it that I need? What is it that I need to move forward?
But you have to know. You have to know what you need. You have to identify. And again, even as we're talking about breaking free, we have to know that it's not going in addition to what you were saying. We've got to know that it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be pretty, and it's not going to be handed to us. We have to take the initiative to make the break because no one's going to give it to you at all. So the process of breaking free is about disengaging and removing things from the root. It's about identifying and acknowledging. It's about accountability and about understanding that it is not going to be a pretty, pain-free journey. It is going to be some of the hardest work that you have ever had to do in your life. Okay, so I hope you're enjoying this conversation so far. We are working through our technical difficulties. which is great and wonderful. And we want to welcome everyone again tonight to Thursday night with Lady Dawn B here on the Bravo with Sheila Network. Look and welcome, welcome, welcome. Our missing party has arrived just in time for the pause. I want to take time to stop and introduce to some and present to others. None other than Pastor Christopher Newton. He is AKA the psalmist voice, very near and dear to my heart. I'm so glad he can make it on tonight and share with us. And I'm going to let him come on and greet the people before we move on to our next point. Come holler at the people.
Well, family, it's been a long time coming. I'm yours truly, the Psalmist Voice, aka Pastor Christopher Newton. I'm happy to be here on this platform, a little late, and I apologize, but I'm here nevertheless with the distinguished Toastmaster, Michelle Roach, and my new brother Donald, in the building. We're gonna chop it up very, very soon. My brother, I'm happy to be here tonight. I'm ready to get this conversation started. So let's get it. Let's go.
There you go. Welcome, welcome. If you didn't know, now you know. And Pastor Newton, aka the Psalmist Voice, he is going to be a part of the men's panel, the men's lounge, along with my brother, Minister Donald Bradley. We got some good stuff getting ready to come up for y'all. I'm trying to tell you, it's about to be on and popping in the month of December. I promise you. Mark your calendars for December 14th because we're going to have a versus. It's going to be the ladies' room, the ladies of the ladies' room versus the men of the men's lounge. And we're going to get on and talk about some good stuff. I'm going to give you a sneak peek. Don't tell nobody I told y'all. But our topic on the 14th is going to be when women are loved right, they glow. And when men are loved right, they grow. So we're going to stop and we're going to break that down. We're going to talk about it. So, yeah, we're going to get into it. It's going to be tight. So that's just a little sneak peek, just a little commercial break for y'all on tonight as we journey on throughout this conversation. So, yes, get used to seeing these wonderful men that are a part of the men's lounge. I'm so grateful for them lending their voice and their experience to this experience so that we can help to build better relationships with one another by building better relationships within ourselves. And Nate says, I love that title. Girl, listen, I can't wait. I want December 14th to come so fast. It's ridiculous. But not before November ends, because we got stuff to do in November. We got stuff to do. So I want to jump back into the conversation. And again, please like, subscribe, and share. Invite someone to be a part of this wonderful conversation that we're having, and I hope that you are getting something out of it thus far. So Donald says, before we move on, we were talking about breaking free in order to move forward. Speaking about the process of breaking free is that we need to disengage. We need to start removing things from the root so that they don't grow back. We have to identify what those things are, acknowledge them, and take accountability. Donald says freedom has a price. Jesus paid it. We need only to embrace, exercise, commit, and be consistent and labor through to live, grow, and develop. Final thought. That was his final thought for the day. I believe he has to possibly pop off on tonight. I know 204. I know. I love you, big bro. I love you, big bro. He's going to be back on with us really, really soon. I promise y'all. Minister D, he's back in the house. He's going to be back. He had a little technical difficulty tonight, but that's all right. So there's a little tag team happening now. Donald got to bounce out. The psalmist, Pastor Chris, is bouncing in. Y'all need to high five, tag team each other in, holding it down for the men. It's just worked out perfect timing. Perfect timing. Psalmist is saying he got you, Donald. He's going to hold it down. He's going to make you proud. See, look at that. Look at that. So as we're moving on in this conversation, thank you for your final thought, big bro. I love you, 204. Mahalo. He says love and hugs. So as we're moving on in this conversation, I also want to just say, Michelle made a point about people about listening, and not allowing people in your ear, which is very, very important. And what I also want to share with you about that is, don't allow people to make you an emotional hostage. Don't allow people to make you or to hold you as an emotional hostage. People will speak things into your ear or try to speak things into your life, again, to keep you stuck and stagnant in a particular place. And they will rest on your emotions because they have no other way to get to you. When everything else starts to shut down, then they want to try to tap on your softness or tap on your kindness. And a lot of times we fall into that, and they will even use the God factor. They will use the Lord. They will use church to try to help you or encourage you to stay in this unhealthy, stagnant place that is not growing you. It is not serving you. It is not pushing you. It is not developing you. It is not maturing you. It is not helping you manifest. But they will use these things because they're benefiting from you in their lives, as opposed to it being reciprocal. When we're not feeding into one another, then it becomes one-sided. And again, one thing lives and someone else dies. So part of breaking free is not allowing people to make you an emotional hostage to them or their situation. Pastor Chris, you look like you want to say something. Yes.
If I may, see, God wants us to experience continual restarts, rebirths, redefinitions, and literally rebrand our lives. What does that mean? I don't mean rebrand it so you can make millions of dollars. I'm gonna get in trouble with that statement, but I said it anyway. See, he never meant for this full life to be boring, right? Now, we get bored because we want to stay stuck like Chuck. See, the problem is we don't want to grow, evolve. Why do we have to stay in the same mold everyone else is? See, I'm gonna get kicked off the program already, and I just got here. I'm trying to be nice tonight. See, we have to achieve this thing called rise and fall, right? We have to go through life. We have to lose things, gain things. We have to sometimes get church hurt. Sometimes relationally, we have to get hurt. Sometimes we just got to get hurt all the way around. Sometimes we got to get broke all the way down so God can do the rebuilding. Now, see, some of us still get stuck moving forward because we want to go back to where things used to be because it's familiar to us. That's what we do. We can do those things because it's familiar. We can reconstruct that because it's familiar. But see, when you're trying to do things, and I'm not trying to be preachy because, I'm trying to hold that Shonda down. But when you are trying to rebuild you, where is God in the factor? How can you move forward if you don't have God in the mix? I don't know. Some people can do it. Yeah, they can reconstruct themselves, rebrand themselves, remold themselves. They could do it all themselves. But see, this is the difference. You can't move forward effectively if you're just doing it all yourself. I got a witness. I tried to do that, and guess what? I fell flat on my face. See, I had to understand that in order for me to move forward, I had to get Chris out the way. See, y'all want to hear that either. See, we got to get ourselves out the way, our intellects, our egos, our degree, whatever it is. I'm not saying, please don't inbox me with this comment. I'm not saying you can't be degreed or educated. That's not what I'm saying. But what we do, we elevate those things above who? God, right? So we embrace these things, we mold it and make us into this person. Now we feel that we're elite, we're astute, we can do all these things, we can preach in all these platforms because I got my papers. Well, guess what? Sometimes even with the paper, you just can't get on those stages because sometimes you just don't make the grade, no matter how many degrees you have. But that's a whole nother show for a whole nother time. So I'm going to leave it at that. I wanted to throw that in there real bit. I wanted to catch up on the time I missed and throw it all in there and give my brother Donald some kudos because he held it down and I was trying to get on. It was a whole story. But anyway, I'm here and I'm done. Back to you.
Well, thank you. And you will experience the psalmist voice so much more on the men's panel. Yes, in the men's lounge. We look forward to having it. We're glad you made it. And we really, I'm very thankful that you have come to yield your time. And yes, everything that you said is true. You know, he's a pastor, so he's going to bring the God element, you know, naturally, as we all are. Y'all know I'm a God's girl, but you know, we understand that everyone has different views, different values. Everyone has different things in their core, what drives you and what moves you. And whatever that is, that's what we need to be tapping into. That's what we need to be relying on in the midst of us breaking free, just in addition to what Pastor Chris is saying. You know, for us is God, for you it might be something else, and that's okay. It's whatever it is that is at your core that is going to allow you to move forward and break free from the things that are trying to bind you in this space that you're in. Whatever it is that doesn't want to let you go and grow, that's what you need to tap into, that source that you have that will help you to break free. We'll give you the instructions to break free and to move forward. So thank you for that share, Pastor Chris. Love it, love it, love it. The next thing I want to talk about while we're talking about that is in between, there's a process that is necessary. There's a process that we go through in the midst of breaking free in order to move forward. And that is the in-between space. Kind of called sometimes, you know, you got to find, this is where I say you find the sweet spot. This is where you got to find it, because you go from where you were, you go from being bound to getting ready to move into your next. You don't know what your next looks like yet, but what you have to do is find your balance in between that. I may not always know where I'm going or what the end result is going to be when I get there, but what I do know is that I'm leaving from where I'm at. And while I'm in the middle of this transition of breaking free from those things, that means what? There's a vacancy. That means what? That there's an opening. That means what? That there is space. And before I get to my next, I need to fill that space with what? I got to find my balance. I got to get my sea legs back together. I have to unlearn the things that got me stuck. And I have to find my tools that I will need to go forward without even really knowing my full forward yet. But I need to find what's going to stabilize me. And that's what I call the sweet spot, the in-between. It's right there in the middle. It's in the middle of us breaking free and finding breaking free so that we can move forward. So the second statement that I want to read says, you are allowed to outgrow the life you thought you wanted. This is the middle. Again, this is where I call, again, I don't keep saying, but it is the sweet spot, because this is where you allow yourself, you are allowed to outgrow all those things that you thought you wanted, that used to hold you hostage, that you like, well, that was then, I don't want that no more. You know, I don't have that appetite no more. I don't have that space anymore. You know, I've grown, I've matured. My palate has changed. You know, I'm trying to, you know, I want to see something new and something different. You know, now I want the more and I want the better. So what has to happen? I have to allow myself to outgrow those things that no longer serve me, because that was the life that I thought I wanted. But I found out that that's not the life that I needed. So now that I'm free from those things that I thought I wanted, I'm at a place of knowing what I want, I can be free in my mind, free in my spirit, to acknowledge and accept that I've outgrown it, whether it's people, could be a job, could be things, could, you know, whatever it is. I've outgrown that, and you need to know that it's okay to outgrow the life you thought that you wanted in order to move forward to the life that you know that you deserve. And again, this is where it's sweet, because this is where you get to remake who you are. Michelle, come on, jump in. Tell me what you think about that statement. You're allowed to outgrow. You know, a fish only grows as big as the bowl that it's in. And sometimes you outgrow your space and you have to expand. Come on, Michelle, you've been quiet.
Well, if I may, you also need to know that you don't have to respond to that text message. You know, that person who just keeps on texting you after you said, hey, it's a wrap. The ones who call you 15 times a day, leaves all these crazy voice messages. It's okay to block that person. It's okay. If they're bringing negativity in your life, saying all these bad things, trying to remind you, here's what we were, blah, blah, blah. It's okay not to respond to that text. It's okay to block that person. Been there, done that. But again, that's taking accountability. Also, allow myself to know, yes, I'm in this spot. I'm not going to be in the same spot tomorrow. I have, would say, it's okay to be me. It's okay to realize what Michelle needs to get to that next spot. Mm-hmm. It's okay for me to say, okay, I'm taking this with me. I'm taking that person with me. And it's been nice. I wish you well. Will I pick up the phone and call you tomorrow? No. Now, I may wave at you when we're in Walmart, but no, I won't be calling you.
No. Not the Walmart wave. Not the Walmart wave.
Yes, because we do run into our paths in the Walmarts. If you're looking for someone, just go to Walmart. I'm not trying to, throw one out for Walmart, but again, just saying it's okay. It's okay to sit down. It's okay. Here's who I am. Here's where I want to be. And for that new person or new opportunity, they need to accept you for who you are and where you are. Now, don't remind you of yesterday. Yesterday is gone. You might still be in a spot where, hey, I need help. I need that push that says you can do this. But again, God is my foundation. I've stepped out with Michelle. Yes, I've stepped on some toes, said a few things, but again, I want to take accountability for that. What piece did I play in all of that? Mm-hmm. So again, knowing it's okay. It's okay for me to move to the next.
It is. You have to give yourself that grace, and thank you for that share. It is perfectly all right to outgrow spaces that we have been in. I don't mind. I don't have any shame in my past, but for me, I don't really want to talk about my past because that's not where I live. I might use it as a point of reference so you can understand, what helped make me who I am today. But my past is not what defines me. My past is actually what helped develop me. Because now that I'm in this space of outgrowing, if you can only refer back to me as to who I was, then that's a space that you're stuck in, not where I'm stuck out, because I've outgrown that. And you can give yourself permission. That's what this whole statement is about, giving yourself permission to outgrow the space, the life, the things, that you thought that you wanted back then. Sometimes you have to live it out. Sometimes, how many things have we tried and we're like, no, I thought I wanted that, but no, I don't want that. Or, I thought that looked good, but no, it didn't really, now, because as we go and as we grow, our vision changes, our taste change, our desires change. As we develop and mature and becoming who we are, some things fall off, some things we no longer need. So you don't have to feel guilty about carrying something that is no longer serving you, So again, just know that you are allowed to outgrow the life you thought you wanted in this in between, so that you can go get the life that you know that you deserve. What say you, psalmist voice?
Yeah, Michelle took my word. So if I may, um, see, here I'm going to bring some Bible into this because I'm a pastor. That's what I do. But the most overestimated scripture that we miss is Exodus chapter 14. Right? This is when the Israelites they got out of Egypt. They're traveling in the wilderness and they get stuck. Right? Here's the comparison. They got a big Red Sea in front of them. They got all the troops coming after them, right? So they stuck like Chuck, right? So their emotions is high and all that stuff, right? So in the midst of this emotional struggle, right? Sometimes there was no good choices made because look what happened. They was making calves and going straight bananas, right? So see, but what I'm saying is that sometimes we get stuck in an element of things because we want the circle we're in to not look bad, or we want to cater to the other individual's emotions instead of our own. So our own, we're getting all ripped up, all inside and out, feeling some kind of way behind closed doors, ready to go ham on anybody, but we have to stay face. We have to put the mask on and act like everything's okay, so we're catering to that person. Now, I'm not going to say I was Mr. Perfect. I'm not going to say my resume was to the T and spotless. I'll be lying. But guess what? When you can learn from your mistakes and be better and do better, I'm trying not to. I'm trying. When you can get better and do better, what does that mean? Sometimes you got to get stuck in your situation to understand how to get unstuck from it, because you listen to all these different voices. Everybody telling you need to stay with him or her. Oh, you need to stay in that ministry because, oh, you need this. Oh, you need that. But this in your spirit, God is telling you to shift. And you're not shifting, you're still staying in it. And guess who's getting the damage? You, not them, you, because you're benefiting them, not you. So how can you move forward in what God called you if you staying stuck in something that you know you're not, not comfortable in? So I'm gonna slow down. So when we understand that the source of being stuck is you, nobody's gonna like that one. But sometimes we get ourselves stuck. And like I've been saying for the last couple of weeks, sometimes we want to camp out the shut door. And we'll get into that next week. But all I'm saying, we want to camp out and just be chilling. I'm good. As long as they good, I'm not good, but I gotta act like I'm good. We got to play the part, even in some circles of being pastors or ministers or whatever you are, in what circle you're in. You got to always please the people. I'm sorry, but the first person you should be pleasing is God, one. Then two, you need to please what's going on with you. And if you're not pleased, you're not happy, people cussing you out, texting you, calling you 15, 20 times, like Michelle gets like every day. She probably gets like 20 people calling her 30 times a day, and she got to wave them at Walmart and do the Holy Ghost wave, God bless you, or give them the toast like she always does, give them the toast, because if she gives you the toast, that's a problem. But anyway, I'm going to be quiet because I'm going to go on, and this ain't my platform. So I'm going to be quiet. So that's what I got to say about that, and I'm done.
You will learn, Pastor Chris, the Psalmist voice. Y'all will learn him very quickly. But thank you for that, for your share and your. I can't even come behind it. Just can't. Mama Rosa says, "Well, you better preach, Pastor Chris. You better preach." But and it's true though. You make very good and great points. You made a point of, even as you referenced that Bible scripture, You made a point, though, of being stuck in the midst of emotional struggle. And we find ourselves there. That is one spot, again, when we're in the middle and we're in between. You just broke free. Freedom is so foreign and so unfamiliar to so many of us that it is scary. Freedom can be completely scary. I don't know about nobody else, but we become, I know for me, freedom can be very scary. I can be very afraid because I'm learning how to be free. When you decide you don't want to be inhibited anymore, when you make up your mind that you want to live your life out loud and in full color, when you decide that you want the better of God, if that's your thing, when you decide that you want the best for your life and you become unstoppable, that fear for me then turns into fuel. I'm no longer afraid of moving forward into the unknown. I become intrigued and I become excited, and it becomes my adrenaline because I'm about to enter into a whole new world that I've never seen before, that I have only imagined, that is far beyond what I could ask or think. But when I align myself with the freedom and the liberty that I was purposed to walk in, everything that I want and that I need starts to fall into place. And that's what I say, in the middle is such a sweet, sweet spot, because it's the place where you learn yourself, your true self, without the distractions, without the hindrances, without the extra voices, where you can hear you. And that's what happens with a lot of us. We become bound because we stopped hearing us and we started hearing everybody else. One thing I say when we with Harlem Girls, when we go do like book signings and things, and one comment that I make sure to share when I'm able to is trust your own voice. Learn to trust your own voice. In between the breaking free and moving forward is where you should be learning your own voice and learn to trust your own voice. Because you, 9 times out of 10, are not going to tell you the wrong thing to you. You're not going to tell yourself anything to put you in harm's way. We make good decisions, but bad choices sometimes. And that usually happens because we have not listened to our own voice the first time. If we did, we'd be in a better place. Thank you, Pastor Abraham. I'm so glad you were able to come through on tonight. He said he's from Nigeria, so he is in a whole nother time. It's nighttime, but I don't know what time it is. I just know it's the opposite time, or maybe it's daytime. I don't know, but I'm grateful that he tapped in on tonight. Hope you are enjoying this conversation so far. Pastor Rosa, Mama Rosa, she said, I ain't scared. She said she ain't scared when we're talking about fear and turning it into fuel of the unknown as we break free from the things that had us bound, people, places, and things, in order to move forward to our next. You will never obtain what's next for you by standing still. We have to learn how to move. So again, you're allowed to outgrow the life that you thought that you wanted. And my last share on tonight is when we've gone from breaking free from disengaging, which is us disengaging from the root, plucking things up from the root of where they came from, and we get our place, we get ourselves to that middle space, in that sweet spot where we're able to deal with the emotional struggles that we go through, where it's taking the time for us to learn our voice and to trust our voice so that we can now begin to move forward. We're going forward with confidence. We're going forward in freedom. We're going forward in peace. We're not going forward in baggage. We're not going forward in with the guilt of the past. We're not going forward with any of that. We're leaving all of that. It's what we broke free from. And again, the middle is where we learn. We kind of get our sea legs, because this is where we learn how to hear ourselves and build the confidence rather that we need in order to move forward. And then it gets us to this place where now we are able to move forward, where we are able. I feel like Pastor Chris want to say something. I see you praying, sir.
I'm trying to compose myself, but I had to co-sign what you said. 2 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 16 through 18. You can read it at your leisure, but it definitely teaches us that walking with God is just not a religion, but it's a relationship. See, I'm starting trouble. See, it's impossible to focus on God or us or what's going on or whatever and remain the same person. Now, you might get duplicate copies. You might get the same person or the same personality or the same spirit of the, I'm gonna get in trouble with this one, but it is what it is. You get the same father of the house thing. Now y'all can research that at your own time, but we hear these sayings, right? And we become carbon copies and we get stuck. How can you move forward, become a new you, if you still stuck in the old religious mindset? I'll wait. See, I learned how to be free when I started having relationship with God. Not all this philosophy, not all this other stuff. God downloaded some stuff and he showed me what was wrong. And he showed me the decisions I needed to make. He showed me stop letting other people change who you are. Be who I made you to be. Stop being the same duplicate copy and preaching the same like them, rubbing your head like them, always hugging the mic like them, doing all this like them. You be you. And they ain't gonna like what you gotta say, but it's okay. I got your back. And I'm like, God, I don't want to be hated on. I want to get my likes. I want to get my shares. I want to get my thousands of views. But guess what? That's not my anointing. So therefore, you got to understand where you are. Be confident in where you are. And I'm telling you, God will move anything in your life. And people may not like your decision. They may get mad at you. They may bring up old dirt that you used to do back in the day. Oh, you just doing the same thing you used to do back in the day. Well, do what Michelle do. Just wave at them and keep on walking. God bless you. Hi. And keep moving forward. Why? Because if it gets stuck, you might gaze and you might end up in the same aisle and you were doing the same thing all over again. Okay, I'm done. I can't.
Well, thank you, Live Wire. All right, come through now. But that's important. Again, these are things that you learn in the middle, in between. Once you break free, don't go back to being a carbon copy. This is, again, where you learn you, where you learn your voice, where you learn to trust your voice, when you learn to tap into what guards you and what guides you. Again, for us, it's God. For you, it might be something else. It's not a Christian platform, but we are Christian. So we use our references because that's just who we are and it's what we do, and we stay true to us. But whatever guards you and whatever guides you when you're in that in-between space, when you're in the middle part of your journey, that's where you need, as Pastor Chris was saying, to learn you. Let it not be out of religion for anything. Because, we can be religious. We religiously brush our teeth. We religiously, put your pants on with the right leg first and then whatever it is. It's just a repetitive cycle that we honor, that we use. But whatever it is that you need to tap into while you're in the middle, tap into that and become the unique you that you were always meant to be. Don't go back and pick up what you dropped off. Let it remain on the floor, and for those who may engross themselves in your process between your breaking free and your moving forward, you have to not let outside people and opinions alter or interfere with your influence or your progress. You have to learn to stand on you. It's not a popularity contest. You be you. You be you. If you're called to 12 people, serve those 12 people. Whatever it is that you're called to do, Do it well, but do it being you and not someone else. And again, in the middle is where you learn who you are. You don't have the outside voices, and people will insert themselves into your journey. They will try to insert themselves into your journey. And sometimes you have to just tell people to mind their business. And sometimes you have to learn how to mind your own business along this journey. You want to share something, Michelle? What before we get into this last point and wrap it up for the night?
I just want to ask, where is Minister Donald? Where did Minister Donald go?
Minister Donald had a rehearsal that he had to attend, so he had to jump off.
Okay. So that's when Pastor Newton came in.
Ironically, yes, that was they're both in Texas, so it must be the Texas time, and they're tagging. I don't know.
I just wanted to understand that process of how it happened.
Yes,
I just want to throw in the fact that sometimes when we're moving forward, we feel as though I'm alone in this process. And again, it goes back to your support system, who you have invited into your life. You need someone to let you know, one, you're not alone. Two, you can do this. And for me, that foundation is God. Because sometimes I second guess myself. Even though I'm making progress, I still second guess myself. But it's good to know that if no one picks up that phone at 2:00 in the morning, no one responds to my text messages, no one opens the door when I knock on the door, that God will never say, that's Michelle calling again. Just let it go to voicemail. Here she comes again. So it's good to know that I'm not in it alone. And you're not in it alone. Sometimes we don't ask for help when we need help. We don't make that forward step. But that doesn't mean that we won't have, oppositions that come with us. But you should never feel as though you are alone. Again, take a look at your circle. Sometimes we say goodbye to the past, but we're still letting that person come along. But that was the very person you should have left. A week ago, you should have said, okay, that old saying, see you later. And I'm not going to throw that in there, but you know what I'm getting, for the old school, we used to say, see you later. Yeah. It's some words that come behind that after a while, but I'll just leave it at that, Dawn.
Well, thank you, Michelle. And just to add a little before we get to this last point, it gets back to not going back to what you just broke yourself free from. You have to know the company that you're keeping along your journey, and you have to know when everybody is not for life. Some people are for a time, some people are for seasons, some people are for life. And you have to know who belongs where, and you have to be okay with people belonging in that spot. And again, not feeling guilty. You've outgrown this moment, and it's okay to move. We've served our time, and it's okay to move forward. If you're going to go biblically, it always makes me think of right now, every time the season that I'm in, I say I don't have a back. Because every time I take a step forward, it's like God pushes the wall behind me straight up on my back. So when I turned around, there's no space for me to see anything. There's only forward. I don't have any other choice. Like whatever was behind, it doesn't even, I don't, it's not that I don't remember it, but I'm not attached to it. So therefore it has no bearing. It has no weight. I'm so unbothered. And for me, the only taste in my mouth right now is for the things that are ahead of me. The only desires of my heart are for the things that are ahead of me, because I didn't do all the work to break free to go back. Not this time. We finished that cycle. We finished that. We done with that. And sometimes I like to think of it as you're talking about, who we take along this journey with us, and people being in places that they should not be or uninvited to. Lot went with Abraham, but he wasn't invited. technically. The journey was for Abraham. Lot tagged along. And we have to be mindful and we have to be willing to check the lots in our life. And we have to give them a gracious goodbye at certain points because we can't carry everything with us forward into our next. Why? Because if you do, you're going to end up repeating what was in your past that you just broke yourself free from. You're just going to be doing the same thing in a different place. You know, that's what's going to happen. So I'm going to get to you, Pastor Chris, because I see you want to say something, but I want to read this last point. And I'm going to let you share until we wrap it up for tonight. And I want to thank everybody for tuning in, as always, to Thursday Night with Lady Dawn B and friends. Hope you have enjoyed this conversation and are enjoying this conversation. I'm excited about what's to come. I'm glad that you're able to tap in and hear. We just having real talk with real resolutions from real people. So that we can build better relationships with one another by first starting with building a better relationship with who? Ourselves. So as we're speaking about all of these different nuances of breaking free in order to move forward, we discussed about, again, breaking free, about disengaging and removing whatever it is from the root, from its existence, from its beginning, and then moving into the middle where we're learning our own voice and we're learning to trust ourselves. We're learning to dream again. We're learning to stand in our confidence in the authenticity of who we are and integrally. And it brings us to this place of now we're able to move forward where we are embracing the new start. We're able to celebrate our progress and we're able to now step into our new next without the extras of anybody else, without outside opinions and without the outside noise. This last quote that I want to read and share about moving forward is that this is key to me in moving forward, which simply says, be unapologetically, this is my favorite word, one of my favorite words in the world now. Be unapologetically you. Today is yours to shape, own it, break free from people and things that poison or dilute your spirit. Make it a great day. I say every day, go be great. Every day I say, go be great. I started telling myself that when I wake up in the morning, as I'm struggling with, feeling comfortable, uncomfortably comfortable or comfortably uncomfortable, whichever you want to put it. And I'll tell myself, that's my pep talk, go be great. And I share that as I need to, go be great. Go do you. So again, it says, be unapologetically you. Stop apologizing. In your forward, stop apologizing. Stop apologizing for who you are, for how you are, for what you do, for your mistakes. Stop apologizing for your victories. Be unapologetically you. Today is yours to shape. It is yours. It's not anybody else's. It's yours. Your today is your today. How you choose to shape it is how you shape it. And you own it. Break free. We just talked about it. Breaking free from people and things that poison. Again, Michelle talked about the voices in our ear that poison or dilute your spirit as you move forward. Pastor Chris, what would you like to share?
Oh Lord. Okay. The songwriter said, I didn't say it, love and happiness. And then he did a nice little high pitch after he said that, but I'm not going to reenact it because I can't sing like that. But all I'm saying is love, and Michelle knows what that song is, love and happiness. So, but I'm going to close. See, I'm really going to close. Okay. So we have to change our mind, right? My favorite passage of scripture is Romans chapter 12, verse 1. Be ye what? Transformed by the renewing of your mind. So you can't move forward if you have an old mind. You can't break free because you have an old mind. You can't move forward in your destiny or your purpose because you have an old mind. So you got to break free from that. So how do you do that? Glad you asked. Have relationship with God, even if you're not so much into the Shande or God or what have you. Find a center point of your life where you can have you time. They say me time, me time, me time. Okay, how many of us have actual me time? We don't. So again, like it all makes sense. Like when it comes to like Exodus chapter 14 and how a dream or a vision came to reality because of what? Faith, right? Faith is the activation for everything we do, right? So we break free from old rules, old ways, old customs, old hair wraps. I'm sorry. Silk head wraps. I'm sorry. The ones that glow with the shande that the distinguished Toastmaster is elegantly rocking tonight. You can see the oil coming from her head, but we're not going to go there because we're closing. So we set ourselves free from what? The emotional stuckness of keeping us from who? Living for God in our purpose, in our dreams, in our visions, because we want to stay stuck. You can't move forward if you don't have relationship. I'm sorry, but I'm saying it. So I dare you, I implore you, do you dare to admit the truths necessary to break yourself free and move forward in your capacity, in your life? Get out of your emotions, get out of your feelings. Not everybody's gonna like you. Your feelings gonna get hurt. You gotta learn how to take all them pieces, baby, and learn how to mold it real good and ask God to seal it and deal it. And I dare you to do that and watch God transform your life one piece at a time, and he will change the way you think. He will change the way you live. He will change the way you execute. He will change the way you wear that necklace like Dawn B is wearing tonight. So that is my close. I'm done. And no better time to start is now. Not tomorrow, not next week. Do it tonight. Do it now. Move forward. Be great. And I'm done. Back to you.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Pastor Chris. Thank you so much. Thank you for turning it back. And thank you for being here on tonight and for your closing thoughts and comments. And if you may, please share with the people your handle and how they can reach you. He is an amazing MC, preacher, pastor, all the wonderful things that encompass our dear Psalmist Voice. So tell them your handle, please, sir.
Yes, I am on Facebook at my regular name, Christopher Newton Sr. on Facebook. You can also reach me on my Facebook pages at TPV Radio. You can also reach me on Instagram, The Real TPV Radio 2022, TPV Radio on Instagram. I'm on TikTok, TPV Radio. Everything's TPV Radio. I'll say it slow because you can get tongue twisted when you say it. It's T as in Tom, P as in Peter, V as in Victor Radio, or you can go to my website at www.tpvradionetwork.com. So it's real easy. I'll get back on the floor very, very soon. But of course, my regular job is taking a lot of my time. So I apologize to all of you out there that are watching that I have not got back to yet. I have not forgot about you. The exclusive interview will be coming back very, very soon. I promise. And it's going to be better than it was last season. Just saying. So again, we will have the distinguished. I got to check her schedule because the distinguished Toastmaster schedule is so booked. I have to make sure that I can finally get her on the exclusive interview. But that's a whole nother story, whole nother time. So thank you so much for allowing me to share. Again, thank you so much for this platform. God bless Sheila. Bravo, was it Bravo? Sheila, Bravo.
Bravo with Sheila. Pastor Sheila.
Yes, Bravo. Yes, there you go. Because she got a lot of hats too. I already know. She put on all. Anyway, thank you thank you so much for allowing me to be on here again. My apologies for my lateness, but it was for a very good reason. But I came at a very good time because I was able to take the baton from my brother Donald and run this thing out. Yes, I see the time, Michelle. I see it. So I'm done. Thank you so very much, and I yield the mic.
And again, just so you know, thank you, the Psalmist Voice, Pastor Chris, for being here on tonight. It's a pleasure having you on the platform. And again, you will be hearing his voice a whole lot more. The Men's Lounge is going to be live between him and my brother, Minister Donald, and bringing in, for those who know and may not know, bringing in my dear big little big brother, Pastor Linwood Beal. And we're going to have my dear friend, my favorite Canadian Jamaican elder brother Gregory Bloomfield, who is no stranger to this platform either. He's going to be on it. The men are going to mix it up, and we're going to have other people coming in and out. But it's going down. It's going down. The Men's Lounge is about to get live, y'all. It's about to get live. So you'll be hearing a lot more from Pastor Chris in that vein on this platform. So before I go to Michelle for her final comments, again, the last thought is be unapologetically you. Today is yours to shape, own it, break free from people and things that poison or dilute your spirit. Please give us your final comments.
That's easy. I dropped the mic. After you come behind Psalmist, I just dropped the mic. He's covered just about everything, and I think he's closed about 15 times now, Don. And that's a sidebar for those who don't know. Psalmist the Voice, Pastor Christopher Newton. Yeah, but anyway, we always say be you, and that is so important. Don't apologize for who you are. They don't know your story. Only you and God know your story. So you don't have to apologize to anyone why I'm going this way, why I'm not going back that way. No, you owe no one any apology. You know what it took for you to get where you are today. I always said that when I had children, I would never forget my past. I would not act as though I'm perfect when I know I wasn't perfect. I always had my ears open for when they wanted to sit down and have a conversation. Mom, what about this? Mom, what about that? I never wanted them to think, oh, my mother never went through anything. Yes, now, of course, I'm not going to write that book so they can, download it or pay for it off of Amazon. No, I'm not going to write that journal. But still, just be you. That's what's important. Be you. And know that it's okay to be you. We say that all the time, but accept that fact. I love that song. You don't know my story until you're willing to sit down and have a conversation and hear me. We're always talking about listening to people. It's so important. You never know what they need for you to hear in that moment. So again, just be you. Be you. And for those of you who don't know yet, breaking news, I will be co-hosting the night of the Men's Lounge. I am really excited about that opportunity. So again, Don, just go ahead and break the news. December is going to be an amazing month. So thank you. Look forward to sharing that platform with you, Pastor Christopher.
Yes. Well, thank you, Michelle. Thank you, my dear sister from NC. Michelle has an amazing room that we all share space in. We are not strangers with each other. There's a lot of insider jokes that are happening on tonight. And, it's what we do. But Michelle has an amazing room on Clubhouse on Wednesday nights. Pastor Rosa, mommy says she's praying for Michelle. Pray. She has an amazing room that she hosts on Wednesday nights at 7 p.m. on Clubhouse called Moving On with God. And it's where we come in and we share the word. We encourage one another. And she hosts different table topics. And it's just a great time to unwind. And the key to the room is laughter. There's never a time we come in after a long day and we don't have, she creates a space for us to relax, decompress, laugh, breathe, and enjoy the word with one another as we build each other up. So if you can, hop on over to Clubhouse, friend her, find the room, Moving Homeward with God. Come join us every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I want to thank them both for coming on. They are near and dear to my heart. You know, God gives you people at the right time. I would say my encounter with both of them was very unexpected and very sudden. Was not any, it just was. But, you know, I firmly believe that through my journey, and as I said to you, the point of, or this topic came from me continuing to share my journey about redeeming me, about getting Dawn back to being Dawn in her fullness and in all of the things that God created me to be. And one of the things I say, if I go through it, other people have to be going through it. If I'm experiencing it, there's someone else that is experiencing it. And I can't reach the world. I'm not assigned to everybody, but to those who are assigned to my voice, I make sure I show up. I say everybody, nobody is for everybody, but everybody is for somebody. So I share my story and I share my truth for the somebodies that I am for, because I want you to be encouraged. And as I grow and get better and accept myself inwardly, outwardly, and everything in between, I want to encourage others to do the very same thing and know that you are enough. So breaking free from the things that keep us bound or kept me bound is so key and important to me. It's very personal. And I want you to know that you can do the same, because we all have somewhere to go. There's always a better before us. So there's never any need to get stuck, but you always have the opportunity to get better. So as we close on tonight, again, I thank God for Michelle, and I thank God for the Psalmist Voice, aka Pastor Chris, because they both are near and dear to my heart. And I don't know how, you know, my life wouldn't be the same without them. They're very precious to me, and I'm grateful that God put them in here at the right time. I made room for them, and I'm grateful. Part of my breaking free allowed space for them to come into my life and be a part and occupy their spaces. Now, with that being said, I love Michelle dearly, but I will be the only estrogen that is on the men's panel in the men's lounge. It will only be me, and the rest will be testosterone. So Michelle will be there in spirit. She'll be with me in spirit. But please make sure that you stay tuned, like, subscribe, and share. Tune in with us because you don't miss anything, because September is going to be a phenomenal month. I promise you. We won't be on next week because it is Thanksgiving, the week of Thanksgiving. People will be traveling. So we do want to wish you a happy Thanksgiving holiday. Pray that you and your families stay safe, stay blessed. Make sure that you are doing the most important thing, which is loving on each other. Again, stop watering those things that were never meant to grow in your life. You are allowed to outgrow the life you thought you wanted. Be unapologetically you. Don't allow people to make you an emotional hostage. And most importantly, in this shift of breaking free to moving forward, know that small changes yield big results. You don't have to do everything at the same time. Small changes yield the big results. Yes, Pastor Chris.
I wanted to give you a gift. Since it's my first time being on here, I wanted to help close the show. So, ladies and gentlemen, tune in next Thursday. Well, not next Thursday because it's Turkey Day. Enjoy your family, but tune in every Thursday night with Lady Dawn B and friends. You don't want to miss this show. It's off the meters. So, Michelle, myself, everyone watch it. Walk with God, walk with purpose, move forward, and let's go.
This is what he does. Thank you, Pastor Chris, the one and only Psalmist Voice. I got my own special closing. Make sure that you tune in, guys, because on November 30th, as we are closing out this birthday month with me and Pastor Sheila, we holding it down for November. On November 30th, when we return at 7 p.m., we will have the greatest writing group ever to exist in the existence of writing groups. None other than my compadres, the Harlem Girls. We are going to be on here talking about every book we've ever written together, separate and apart. I promise you, you don't want to miss it. Come get some good knowledge. And while you're at it, if you need a good word, go across the street to the SIM channel, which is the Sheila Ingram Ministries channel. I promise you, she's over there teaching, preaching, and sharing the word. Go get you some good inspiration. You can't make it in person, catch the replay. But I promise you, you'll be blessed. So have a great night. Thank you for your time. I love you. Go be great, be encouraged, and blessings to you. Till next time, hang out with me, guys.